We are continuing the notes on the Zohar 1, the book and its author, in Major Trends in Jewish Mysticism, Gershom G. Scholem. '80. Nakuda Hada. It does not signify a point or one point, but the center. 1. 15a, 30b, 71b. Nakuda Hada Dakal Alama 229a to 157a, 259a, 268a, 3, 250a, and so on. All this is found in passages which cannot be isolated from their context. And I've really found that sort of thing with some of what people have said about what I've said. I used to get top results in some Google papers, and then after some of them disappeared, some of the last remnants of it to remain online were criticism that didn't sound like they knew the context of the phrase or sentence that they quoted. 81. The most striking passages to be found in Genet Hagun, Hanau 1615, folio 55a and b. The Zohar has only added the combination of these ideas and terms with the theory of Sephiroth, of which Gikatilla makes no use in this connection. Other Kabbalists before Gikatilla has spoken of the divine Hokmah as a point, but the term Sud, Nakuda, Achet, and the combinations with the idea of the primordial Torah is his. 82 relates to what has been said in note 74. 83, Essay New Hassan, published in Baltimore in 1937. Saparya Shul Malah, which is much fuller than the list given by Zunz. Gesammelte Schriften, Volume 1, page 12 and 13. 84 relates to Zohar 1, 34b. Ashkencha Qadmain Bas Purin. An excellent example is found, note 85 relates to an example found by the comparison of Peshahim 3b and Zohar 2, 124a. 86. Very characteristic in this regard is the mythology of the Great Dragon. 2, 35a, and the way it has been connected with the Agada on the Aur Heknuz in Haggadah 12a. Now, one important dragon reference is we're all dragons. Seriously, our aura. Sori gamma pada nisha, or whatever other variation of that. It looks like a rainbow dragon, if you kind of get in touch with it right. And by the way, auras are light, heat, moisture, magnetism. They're not, 87. Analysis of the commentary on Genesis 1, Zohar 1, 15a, 22a, shows most clearly how these different modes of thought coexist in one context of those literally uniformity. In close literary uniformity. Okay. Maybe I should read stuff before I say it. 88. The texts of the Kabbalist brothers of Soria and of Moses of Burgos have been published by me in 2 studies. But he Hadut, Volume 2, 1927, and Tarbiz, Volume 2 through 5, 1931 to 1934. Todros Abulafia's Outzer Hekbud was printed in a full edition, Warsaw, 1879. Shar Herzim, manuscript of Munich, 209, still awaits publication. For an examples of 89, see Backer and R.E.J., Volume 22, 1891, page 137 to 138, Volume 23, page 133 to 134. Note 90 is as Karl Price, Die Medizin im Zohar, MGWJ, Volume 72, 1928, 91, D. Newmark's attempt to prove the existence of major doctrinal differences between the original books, such as Sifra de Tzadzenutha and the Idras, and the Midrash HaZohar, has been unsuccessful. It is based on quite a few unwarranted assumptions, like Tuldut Hepilusupia Bishral, Volume 1, page 204 to 245. 92. A number of texts bearing on this question are to be found in the studies quoted in Note 88. 93. Polish Koretz, 1784, and in a much better edition, Lemberg, 1893. This outstanding work still awaits an adequate analysis. 94. E. Gebhardt, Mystics and Heretics in Italy at the End of the Middle Ages, 1923. E. Benz, Ecclesia Spiritualis, 1934. 95. Zohar 3, 136a, in the correct reading preserved by Menahem Rekanati. Thami Hamsut Basel, 1580, folio 21b. Emil Aleph Shanin. Desmin Qeb Hay Latba Rucha Liah. 96. This idea is mentioned many times in the writings of Temuna Circle. Specifically, David Ibn Zimra's quotation from one of them in his Magen Dud, which is the nickname for the two interlacing triangles. Amsterdam, 1714, folio 49b. Ki Lesba Zu Tura Out Achetman Hetora Shetch Yitch Rawi Halpa Beta Kaf Gimel Outtiut Wagyu, and a manuscript in the Vatican, number 223, folio 197, the far-reaching conclusion in a text not much later than the Zohar, Ki La Tasha, and in parentheses, Betorah Ba Mech Surun Autu Haut Chenchesser Shemanu Yutz Aim Hadinyam Hakshim. 97. Barr has suggested that a strong influence was exercised by the Franciscan followers of Joachim of Fior, the so-called spirituals, on the author of the Reya Mahemna, his important essay in Tiun, setting a good example, of course probably related more to Zionism, because volume 5, right? 1939, page 1 to 44. I would, however, stress the differences between the Zohar and the RM much more than Barr, whose judgment on the historical role of the RM in Spain I disagree. Now, some people would make the point that the Holocaust was made possible very largely by Theodor Herzl and the Zionist movement. Just like the reaction with what happened with Sabbatai Tzvi. Oh, fine, you're causing religious conversion amongst yourselves, changing from one group of Jews to another, or, maybe picking up some other people. The Turks, even though they weren't exactly an Islamic state, it appears they were basically fine with that stuff. What they weren't fine with was the almost Christian idea of taking over the world. 98. Passages like 2, 42b to 43a, 3, 257b, and the prayer of Elijah at the beginning of the Tikkunim, many writers have been led astray by considering these passages as genuine presentations of the theology of the Zohar proper. 99. See Stern's analysis, note 35. Jacob Emden in Matpachet Supreme, 1769. 100. Abraham Zacuto Seper Yuchsin, 1857, page 88. Quoting from Isaac of Eckersdyer, Seper Hemim. 101. Most illuminating in this respect are the beginnings of Idra Rabbah 3, 127b, using a formula from the Midrash Han in Zohar, Hadash, folio 16a, the beginning of Idras Zuta 3, 287b, quoting a story told in the Midrash Han, Ibn 18d, folio 3, 191b, quoting Zohar Hadash, folio 9a and 10d. 102, the Zohar Hadash 25c is compared with 189a, the Zohar Hadash 19a, 21a, compared with 3, 67a, and 102a. Zohar Hadash 80a and c and 18d is compared with 1, 218a and b. And if people have been philosophizing a long time, you're going to definitely find some correlations and comparisons. 103. The two old-fashioned commentaries to the book show, however, fairly clearly that the real state of things, Abraham Mordecai Vinokovsky, Archut Hiyam Henkara Tsuwat Resh Ali Azar Hagdul al Pirush Dumshuk Eliezer and Gershom Enoch Liner Archut Chiam Lublin 1903. It is curious that Jelinek, who published the second part, Siddur Gan Adon, and Beit HaMidrash 3, page 131 to 140, did not recognize the truth. 104, Moses of Burgos calls the contemporary Kabbalist Gauni Hamdresh Hanalam. See, Tarbis, volume 5, page 51. 105, the beginning of the RM fragment 2, 40b to 41b, and the continuation 2, 42 to 43. Some paragraphs from this part, never from the Reya Mahemna, are indubitably quoted by Moses de Leon before 1291. 106, the manuscript in Cambridge University Library, edition 1023, written about 1370, folio 8a to 11b. Gershom Scholem published it in the Louis Ginsburg Jubilee volume of New York, 1945, the Hebrew section, pages 425, 446. 107. Some unidentified quotations from the Zohar are found in Rekanati's commentary on the Torah. 108 relates to Zohar 2, 32a. 109 relates to Steinschneider, Polemche und Appalach Literature, 1877, page 360 to 362. 110, A.H. Silver, A History of the Messianic Speculation, page 90 to 92. The date 1608, which he mentions as the year of redemption, is based on a misunderstanding of the text. 113, Zohar 2, 9b. 112, he mentions this town in the prefaces of his books until 1290. Isaac of Acre relates that he was known among his contemporaries as Rabbi Moses of Guadalajara. 113, he cannot have died in 1293, as some have been sometimes is suggested. Madai he Hadut, Volume 1, page 20 to 22, since we possess a treatise by him, which must have been written later, the Semek Mishkiut Kesef, the manuscript of Adler, 1577, and Jewish Theological Seminary. The date given by Isaac of Acre is obviously correct. 114, Semek Henpesh Hechkma of Basel, 1608, and Semek Shekel Hukdash, Greenup, London, 1911. I know of 20 books and smaller treatises written by him, of which 14 are, at least in part, still extant. 115, a manuscript of Cambridge, edition 505, 4, in Warsaw. Library of the Jewish Community, 50. The lengthy fragment in manuscript in the Munich manuscript number 47, which I believe for some time to contain this book, is certainly from a work of Moses de Leon's, but not the Shushan Aduch of M.G.W.J., volume 71, 1927, page 109 to 123. No less than 6 manuscripts are extant. I have used the manuscript in the British Museum, 759. 117 relates to Tarbez, volume 3, 1932, page 181 to 183. Only having published this article, did Gershom Scholem find the whole quotation in the Cambridge manuscript of the Zohar mentioned in note 106. And 118 refers to Gershom Scholem's article in Kirjaf Sefer, volume 6, 1930, page 109 to 118. 119, Isaac of Acre 2 speaks of Moses de Leon's relations with Joseph ben Tadras of Elathia. 120, Bahya mentions Medrash Reshabye only twice, but he uses it in many other places. This has escaped the notice of many modern writers, but was recognized already 1589 by Moses Mordecai Margoliouth in Chesty Hay, folio 26b. 121, Gershom Scholem connects us to his essay in Kirjaf Sefer, volume 4 of 1928, page 311. 122, some early authors quote parts of the Zohar as Asher, Sepirut, Lechkami, Masha, Brashit, Lechkami, Hemshana, etc. And Moses de Leon himself does the same in quoting Zohar 1, 19b, with the introduction Reti, Bedbury, Checkme, Hemshina, otherwise known as Hanpush, Hechkema. Chapter 2, 123, relates to Steinschneider's Gesammelte Schriften 1 of 1925, page 171 to 180. Steiner did not know the original Arabic text of Ibn Walker's voluminous work is still extant in the manuscript of the Vatican 203, which he's put in his article in Kirjaf Sefer, volume 20 of 1944, page 153 to 162. 124 relates to manuscript of the Vatican 203, folio 63b. Wama ma yagud men seper hezuher pingabi an yet cheduk pama wapak lama dirkat Pulyazm aliyaha wama halpa pala yazm aliyaha ad waka pya tug leith katir gada yeg at yet chapath wheat chadad mana man la yaglath.